Y'all ready? Math. Oh, everybody loves math. It's their favorite topic. No, I'm seeing head shaking. No, I don't want to do math. Well, unfortunately, for those that don't want to do math, it's 10% of your general knowledge questions. So you're going to have to learn some math. We're going to do one tonight called the T formula that should get you through at least half your questions just by knowing the T formula. Y'all ready to get going? Uh-oh. There we go. We've got some learning objectives. Like I said, the T formula. We're going to be working with that. We're going to learn where things go on it. Figuring commissions is one of the things that we can put on the T formula. Valuation of real property, another T formula. How debits and credits work, that's a picture too. Prorations, how loans are determined. They'll give you a question about what's the principal balance after the second payment. Well, we got to do a little math to get there. But once you see how it works, you say, oh, I can do this. Don't be afraid of math. It's a picture. And we can picture a picture a lot longer than we can picture words and formulas. This will stick in your head. We're going to do some measurements and then rates of return. What you're interested in, since you're here in class, is getting a job and getting a check. There it is, right on the top. That's your paycheck. That's the results of your hard work. Remember our hard questions? You did the hard questions and you got paid. That's your check. Well, it's based on the price of a house. Right here. As a rule, if I just carve it in stone, the little number is going to be on the top and the big number is going to be on the bottom. Then you're going to have a percent. That's all there is to an equation. Something times something or something divided by something. Remember back in school it was like I divided by V equals R. No, I cannot remember that. I need a picture. And this has got everything you need to know about it right here. Sales price of the home, that's going to be your big number. Your commission check's going to be the little number. And then there was a percentage. This number is divided by this number. So in your calculator, if you know your commission check is a certain number, you can type it in the calculator, hit the divide button by the price of the house, and it'll give you the commission rate. And it works the other way. If you got this one, you know the commission rate, you divide this by that, and it'll give you this. See where we're going? Here we go straight across multiply. The price of the house times the commission rate is your commission check. See how easy this is? We covered it all in 2 minutes. Let's go home.
Now you gotta go over there about 5 more times.
Oh, you want me to go over 5 more times? So how about that? You like that? That's where we are, huh?
Maybe, yeah.
Basically, I see all these heads tilting back there. And I gave you the Cliff Notes version of math. Y'all could have got it. You go home.
I ain't got it. Let me
You
see
ain't
the
got
number.
it. Let me see if I can help. I got somebody out here gonna help us.
I believe you too. You say it one more time.
Hi.
Hi.
Have you ever had pizza?
Love pizza.
You love pizza. You've had a pizza before. You got a whole pizza, didn't you? You went to the store, they gave you a whole pizza. Well, you got one slice of it. So what's the percentage of the pizza that you got?
1/8 of it.
1/8. All right, so we're going to take 1 divided by 8, and it'll give us the percentage of the pizza we got. 1/8 is 12.5%. Now, if we know we got 12.5% of the pizza, and there were 8 pieces, we can just multiply that across. 0.125 times 8, and that'll give us 1. Y'all seeing this?
That makes sense.
Makes sense. Pizza does it. How about if it was donuts? You got a dozen donuts, and you got one of them. What percentage did you get?
112.
1/12. And why we convert that to a decimal? Put the 1 in the calculator first, hit the divide button, 12. This is the same pizza and donuts, same thing. You got 1 slice, there were 8 total slices, so you got 12.5%. Now I got donuts, I don't have a donut suit, but if it did, it'd still be 1 donut, but now we got 12 in the box. So what percentage did you get? 1/12. So you hit the 1 in the calculator, hit the divide button, and then it would be 12, and that would give you a percentage. I don't know what it is right off, but I see somebody with a calculator getting it out. What percentage of a dozen donuts would you have if you got one of them?
See, you trying to make it difficult.
Oh, now I'm not trying to make it difficult. You put 1 in the calculator, hit the divide button, and then 12.
First, I gotta get to the calculator.
Everybody, yeah, go ahead and get your calculators out, because y'all gonna need them.
0.08.
0.08. That means you got 8% of the box of donuts. See how that works?
So 0.1
0.1, yeah.
divided by 12.
12, we're dealing with donuts.
It's 1 divided by 12.
1 divided by 12, just like here. 1's divided by 8, that gives us 12.5%.
Yeah. 1 divided.
Donuts, we're dealing with 12.
Yeah.
So if you got 1 out of the 12, what's the percentage? 1 in the calculator, hit the divide button, and 12.
Yeah, 0.083.
Me too.
Yeah, 8%, roughly 8%. Here you had 8 pieces, you got 12%. There you had more pieces, you got 1 of them, so your percentage of the box was smaller. Alright, let's look at the next one.
Okay.
You got 1 slice, and you know that you got 12.5% of the pizza. So, we're going to put 1 in the calculator, hit the divide button, our divide button right there, and then put 0.125, and hit the equal button,
8.
and it gives us 8. Over here, we were looking for that base number. And there it is. We got 8 slices. Here we know we got 8 slices, and we got you got 12.5%. So how much is that? We've done it 3 times now. It ought to be 1 slice up here. But if you multiply 8 times 0.125, it's going to give you 1. Alright, we got 1 slice divided by 8. What's the percentage that we got?
12.5.
12.5. There it is. We got 1 slice, we got 12.5%. How many slices?
8.
8. We got 8 slices, 12.5%. How many slices did we get?
1.
1. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Hey.
Here's what we're gonna work on.
I'm trying to do.
Take my shoe off here. These are the things that you need to do real estate calculations for. Commission, is that going to be important to you?
Yes, it's gonna be my money.
I'm going to tell you what agents do. They look at the price of the house, look at the commission, and say, that's how much I'm going to make. Before they even go show the house, they think they're getting that check. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. But that is what agents do. I'm no different. It's $1 million house and I'm gonna get 5%. Oh, I'm gonna get me a new car. And then the deal falls apart and you driving your, driving your car that doesn't have cold AC
Yeah.
to the closing table. Compensation fees, all that's together. Market valuation, we can use our T formula to figure out how much a house is worth based on the money that it's bringing in as a rental. That's a return on investment problem. Net to seller, we're going to work with a little bit with debits and credits. What you need to know about debits and credits is debits are bad.
Credits
Debt.
are plus,
Yeah.
debits are negative.
Yeah, debits are minus.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's a debt. I don't want any debits. I only want credits. Credits are good. That's a plus. That's money on your side of the closing statement. Taxes, we're going to see how we prorate taxes. Points, back to this one again. Loan to value, here again. And then measurements. And we're going to do another little rate of return.
I got a quick
Yes,
question.
ma'am.
I saw something that said that the taxes are not prorated and that whoever owned the house as of October 1st of the previous year, that they're responsible for the taxes.
Taxes are paid in arrears. So like right now, this is, what is this, October?
October 19.
14.
Well, the
What's
taxes
that,
are,
2019?
Okay.
well, this is when they're due, got to be paid by December 31st. Now, we're getting off in the weeds here, but if it's not paid by December 31st, somebody's going to buy the tax certificate that's for the debt for this year, 2019. That's a little further than we want to go here. We'll get to that.
When we get to the closing part of it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Points. Points are figured on the loan, not the purchase price. You'll hear points in a couple of different ways. Discount points, origination fees are points. We'll work with both of them. But a point is 1%
Yeah.
of the loan. Never the purchase price, just the loan. So how much will we be paid in points on a $100,000 loan if it requires 2 points? All right, we can use our T formula right here. We put our base in here. It's a $100,000 loan, that's our base. And our points, 2 points. That's 0.02. So we're just going to multiply that across, and what we're going to get up here. Y'all shouldn't need your calculator for that one. Yeah, 2,000. 1% of 100,000 would be 1,000, and we've got 2 points. So I should see 2,000 right there.
Yeah.
How about if we know the points? This is the way you're probably going to get the question. They'll give you the points. You paid $3,210 in points, and that was 1.5 points. How much was the loan? What are we going to do here?
Multiply that.
We're not multiply.
Divide.
We got this number. We're going to put that in our calculator first. Hit the divide button. And it would be 1.5. Or actually, it'd be a 0.015.
Oh. 0.15.
0.015. You got to change that to a decimal.
2,000 is something that's wrong with that.
And there's you divided that by that, and that gives you your loan amount was $214,000.
Okay.
See it? Okay, y'all still with me? Because we're going to be just pretty much doing the same thing over and over and over. We're just going to put different things in these slots. We're going to put commission up here some. We're going to put points up here some. So, but it's the same formula. We're being given 2 things and ask for the third. That's how this works. What we got next? compensation. How much do you get paid? Let's just say you're going to get paid 6% on a $100,000 sale. Y'all help me out here and just tell me, where do we need to put the 6%?
To the right?
On the right.
On the bottom of the right here. It never ever moves. Now, I got 3 T's set up here because some of these we're going to work across. So let's just start with this one. We got a 6% commission. First number I see, and it always goes in the rate.
Right.
How do we write 6% as a decimal?
0.06.
0.06. I like to put a 0 in front of it too, just to give me a heads up. There's a little dot there I need to be paying attention to. So we got our 6%. What else have we got? A $100,000 sale? Is that the results or is that our base?
The base.
That's our base. So we're going to put 100,000 here, and all we do is multiply across. How much is the commission?
6,000?
$6,000. There it is. See how easy that was? And there it is. That shows you multiplying across. Base times rate equals results. Base times rate equals results. They could have given us any 2 of these numbers, and we can get the other one just because we got 2 of them. What if they had given us the 6,000 and said that's what your commission was on 100? That's an odd number there. Let's put another 0. You got a $6,000 commission on a $100,000 sale.
Then you divide.
You divide. So there's the divide button. 6,000 divided by base. So there's results divided by base. Gives you this one. Results divided by rate gives you this one. These straight across give you that one. Alright. You want nothing to figure there. Let's just get
Going
one.
back up again.
Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Okay. There it is. $6,000. What is sales price if we had, oh goodness, put that thing down. What's the sales price? So we got 10,000. That's our results. That was your commission. And you got paid 10%. So that's going to go here. And you can put that one there just to have it. But that's what you need to know to figure the sales price. They're never going to give you what was your commission on a $100,000 sale at 6%. They're not giving you that question. They're going to say, what was the price of the house? Because we can't figure backwards until we learn the T formula. So they'll give you, you got paid $10,000 and the commission rate was 10%. What was the price of the house?
I got 100,000.
100,000. That sounds good to me. 100,000. Oops.
So you multiply.
Multiply across here. See the multiply? These across to get this one. Divide results. You put that in the calculator first. Hit the divide button, hit our base number, and it gives you that number. You're looking confused. Let's work a couple more and you'll start seeing how it comes together. What's the commission amount? That's the way they're going to ask you. They're going to say, no, they're not going to give you that. That's too easy. That's what that one is. They're more likely to say, your price of the house was $50,000 and you got paid 10%. What was the price of the house? And you're just going to put 50,000 in your calculator, hit that divide button, your rate, and it'll give you this number. Here's more likely what you're gonna see. They're not gonna give you, we play with base 10 numbers here. Pretty easy to do base 10. You can guess a lot of those.
Yeah.
You can't guess the ones they're gonna give you. So let's look at this one. What's the sales price when the commission is $18,563 at a rate of 3.7? Could you ever guess that?
No, I couldn't.
No. And they know it.
Commission.
What are we gonna do with this? The commission's 18,000, what is that? Our results are, good, results. Up top, 18,563. That's where that one goes. And we've got a rate of 3.7. What are we gonna do with that number?
We're gonna
Make
make
it a decimal.
And
so
guess
we'll-
decimal and put it
Zero.
where?
0.037.
0.37. That's the same thing as 3.7%. You just move your decimal place 2. So we put this in the calculator first. Hit there's the results. Hit the divide button by our rate. And what did we get?
501,000.
501,
702.
702. Y'all like that number?
No.
No.
Scary number to me.
Well, let's see what this one says.
That's what
And there we set it up. 18,563 divided by 0.037, just like that. So we're looking for the big number, and it is 501, 702, and 70 cents.
No, this is 50,000.
You be with me just a minute. It's coming
I'm
together.
messing my zeros.
You'll let you do it.
Okay, 18.
If you got 2 of them, you can work the other one. What's the commission on the sales price of 765? All right, let's do our base is going to be, or I shouldn't. Let me ask y'all. The $765,000. You think that's the price of the house or your commission check?
Price of the house.
Okay.
I said one.
Okay, we out of this. Yes, I'm so glad I went to real estate school.
One and done.
One and done. So where are we putting that 765
On the left.
base? 765,
32.
432.
32.
We got our base. What else did it give us?
Rate.
2%. So we got to fool with that 2%. We got to convert it to a decimal. We putting it up here or down here?
And the rate?
Right down here. It was 2%. So we got to change that to what?
0.02.
Good.
I'm slow, but I'm.
Now it's a straight across.
Right.
765 times 2%. What'd you make?
I got 15,308.
15,308.
164.
Somebody write me a check 15,300 so you can keep 60.
Where I'm getting messed up is
Rounded
when
up.
to multiply and when to divide.
There's your
What's
line. This line right here, this red line, means divide.
You just have to.
Anything on this side of the red line is going to be divided by this side.
Okay.
That's a numerator,
Okay, I see.
denominator.
So then.
Numerator, denominator.
So if both are at the bottom, then you multiply. If you have one at the bottom and one at the top, then you divide.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. See, it's coming together. Okay, we got that. Let's look at another one. There, well, there it is. What was our company? 15,308. There it is. Y'all ahead of me now. Getting ahead of me.
No, I'm trying to
We
get
can,
with you.
I know we trying to catch it up.
I'm trying to get with you.
No, this is the easy part here. Once it clicks and you see the T,
It ain't clicking.
this stuff is divided by this.
I got that. That's
Little number
that's
divided by the big
my
number.
decimals is where I'm.
I ain't even
Yeah, be careful with that.
With the decimals.
Moving it two over.
You know, it's hard to back up the number.
Got to find it.
Oh, okay.
Or if there's already a decimal, you just try to.
Alright. what's the sales price? The commission is $18,563. Here it is, $18,563. And our commission rate's 3.7, 0.037. What was the price of the house?
501-702.
I believe we had this one already. Maybe this slide's out of place. 501, yeah, we had this one. I
I
believe
think it
that
went
one.
back a few times.
I believe I have gone backwards, didn't I?
Yes, you have.
Okay. Got that one, we got that one, got that one, got that one. All right, now, here we go. Commission's $8,000. Where does that go?
That's
Results.
gonna go
Results.
at the top.
8,000. And the rate is 8%. So what do we got to do to that 8%?
Convert it to
Marcel?
Convert to decimal, 0.08.
0.08. Y'all like that? I do too. So what do? 8,000 in the calculator. Divide button. 0.08. And what did we get?
100,000.
100,000.
You clicking, you clicking, you clicking.
Oh, that's what's happening. My finger's getting this.
Yeah, you,
You clicked it a bunch of times.
Goodness. Carried away. I won't go then. I guess we're through tonight. Oh, there it is. 100,000.
Okay.
Seller wants to net 100,000. Is that results or base?
Base.
Wants to net.
After everything.
After everything, that's going to be our results. Wants a $100,000 net. This is not a net listing. Net listing, the seller would say you can have anything over 100,000. Here he's saying add your commission. Or, yeah, add your commission.
10%.
well, the reason I thought it was base because he said he wants net, he wants to net. He did.
Now he wants to net 100,
After
so we gotta,
everything, so now we got to figure out, he wants that to be,
what he gets a check for.
so we're talking about gross versus the net, so we need to find out what the gross would be.
Yes.
Okay.
And looking at this, we tend to think it's $100,000 and he wants to add our 10% commission to it. How much should it be? What should it be? 110? Does that sound good? You like that?
He wants to
We need
add
the
the
motion.
motion rate to the pro, yeah, that sounds right.
That's
We
10%.
wanna add it to it. Add it to the commission.
We need to know what it would be, what the number would be once you've added the commission. We know what it is after the fact, right?
Yes. He wants 100,000. He wants to
Well,
walk
we need to know
away.
what to list the house for in order
Yes.
to get to.
That's what we're
get
after
to-
here. What was the selling price?
Right.
So, he said, add your commission to whatever you gotta sell it for to get me $90,000. Now, I added this line to kind of clarify. This means he's not getting 100% of the money. You're getting 10% of it.
So.
See that?
But the 90% needs to be
That's what he-
100,000.
90% is, he's gonna get 90% of the total amount of money. So, what are we gonna do with that 90%? Well, in fact, let's look at it this way. He's not getting, if he was gonna get 100,000 and it was gonna sell for 100%, he'd get 100,000. He's not getting 100% of the money. He's only getting what?
90%.
90%. He's taking your 10% out, or you're taking it out. So he's gonna walk away with 90% of the money. Now divide that. 100 divided by 0.9.
Well, when it says seller said add
You have to do it.
commission to price, it said add, so why am I
So it'll
saying?
be,
Well, because he's not getting all the money.
it'll be
he wants to walk away with $100,000. So if he walks away with $100,000, where'd your commission go? I want my commission in there, so you're not getting 100% of that money. You're only gonna get 90% of it. All right, what was that number you got?
111,000.
And some change?
And 11.
The 90%. Why is it not 1, 2? Why is,
This one confuses folks because you say, well, why is that? That's not 10% of that.
But he's on.
But if you took this number and multiplied it by 10%, you'll have 100,000.
Which is what he
wants.
Uh-huh.
So you got to sell the house for $111,000 for him to walk away with 100.
You confused as to why it's 90%?
yeah, I'm confused at why the decimal.
He's not getting 100%. So he's not getting 100%. You got to take your money out of it.
So that's 90%.
So he's getting 90% of the money. So how much money does he want?
He wants 100.
He wants 100, and he's only gonna get 90% of all the money that comes in, so we're gonna divide the 100 by 90, and that's what we gotta sell the house for. Now, where you get messed up on this, in fact, I think I've got it on the slide, they will give you the opportunity to just add your 10% commission to that and sell the house for 110,000. Doesn't that sound right? You want me to add 10% to 100,000?
Don't you cheat yourself though?
Yes, well, you cheating him.
How are you cheating him?
There's what he's gonna sell it for. Now, if you just took the
Then
100,000,
you won't get 100,000.
right.
And you won't get your full either.
If you just added the
$1,000
100 to it, you'd have 110,000.
Right.
Now, they're gonna give you that answer.
You gonna think he's right.
You're gonna look at it and say, 100 plus 10, 100, there it is.
But it ain't right.
And I only would have done that because it said, and it didn't say you're gonna subtract 10%, it said you're gonna add. And that's what just got me somewhere else.
Yeah, if you just add 10%, that's what it said. Text question was.
It didn't say you're gonna subtract.
If you just add.
I guess the key is, I'm assuming it's the 100,000 net is what.
Yes, that's what,
Cause they're basically sharing.
Right.
he said he wants to net 100,000.
The agent gets 10% of the 100% and the seller gets 90% of the 100%. So they're basically sharing.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta, if you sold it for 110,000, now you take your commission off of that, and what would the commission on 110,000 and 10% be?
What was the question?
I missed the question.
Yeah, what would the commission, if you got paid 10% on 110,000, how much would you get paid?
11,000.
11,000. Now, if you took 11,000 off of his 100,
He's gonna be
he's
short.
only gonna get 99,000. But they're gonna give you that answer. Watch it. There it is. They've got every way you can work this wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tyler's like, I've seen it. They'll throw it, and that answer looks so good, that's just so easy. This just, give me C.
It's like, it's-
Here's a return on investment problem. All these are just T problems. Return on investment is what an investor wants to get for their money. You gotta watch money because you're gonna either get it by the month, could be by the quarter, could be semi-annual, or it could be the whole rent. They'll give you $12,000 annual rent. More than likely, they're gonna say you got $1,000 a month rent. And the investor wants to get a 10% return on their money. what would they pay? All right, well, if you don't remember that there are 12 months in a year, and you've got to put everything to annual to get return on investment. So whether it's monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, or annual, you got to get it to that number, annual number, because your return on investment is an annual number. So we got $12,000 in annual rent. We're going to divide it by 0.1, and that's what an investor would pay to get a $12,000 a year income off of a $120,000 investment. If their risk tolerance is 10%. Depends on where you're buying. Some areas of town, you'd be just happy with a 10%. Be lucky to get it. And there are some areas of town, you want 30%. You want your money back in about 3 years or so. Neighborhood may not even be here in 3 years. I want my money back quick. But it depends on their risk. Whatever they want a 5%, 10%, it doesn't matter what they want. It's based on annual cash flow. And they want a 5%, 10%, whatever they want off that cash flow is what they will pay for the property. Still with me? Everybody need Red Bull? Now, an investor, same problem. Now we're just going to look at, we got some expenses. But it's the same problem. We got $1,000 a month rent, and there it is, monthly. And he wants 10% return. So we got the same thing, 1,000 times the 12 months. Same 10% down here. But we got to take our expenses out to get a net number. Our expenses are 25%. We can do the math a couple of ways. This is the easier way. 100% minus the 25%, because you're not going to get all the money anymore. You got back here, you got 12 months a month rent, but you didn't have any expenses. That's not reality. You got expenses. Timmy is with you on every deal. Y'all know who Timmy is? Timmy is taxes, insurance, maintenance, and management. And it doesn't matter if you're using a property manager or manage it yourself, there's a cost. Your time or somebody else's. So Timmy's with you all the time. Here, Timmy gets 25% of all your money. That's about right. 25% off of gross. So we're only going to get 75% of the gross money. Y'all see that? I could have put 75% there, but I want you to see it's coming off of 100%. So you're going to get this times 0.75 will give you $9,000. Now that's your net income. Net income, the investor wants 10%. What will he pay for that? $90,000. Now that's the difference from where we were here. He's willing to pay at 10%, $120,000 if there were no expenses. This would be like, I guess, if you had a CD paying 10%. You wouldn't have Timmy with you. You got a certificate of deposit, it just pays you. No Timmy there. Here is reality. And they will tell you on the test if you've got expenses, what they are, they'll tell you that. You won't have to guess at any of it and just come up with a number like 25%. All right, here's another one we're going to have to play with some, another number. The value of a house today is $91,000. Today means results. That's what it is worth right now. Today it's worth $91,000. So it's going to go on results. Now, what was the original cost if it has depreciated 5% per year for the last 7 years? Here's one of their tricks. You see over there they got 5% written, and here they spell it out. Here. Yeah, 7, they'll spell that one out. Just, they've learned how to confuse you. Watch them on changing up numbers. Pay attention to that. Originally cost is depreciated. All right, so if it's worth worth $91,000 today, is that 100% of what it originally cost? So if you sold it today and you got 100% of the money that you paid for it, what would this number be? $91,000. You got 91,000 divided by 100%, that's 91,000. But here's what's happened. It's gone down, it's depreciated. 5%. So we got to deal with that 5%. And since it's depreciated, it's going to be a minus 5% times 7 years. So we got now see what happened there? It's lost 35% of its value in 7 years. We had 5% that it was losing every year. And it did that for 7 years. So it lost 35% of its value. So you take that from 100, so it's worth 65% of what it was worth 7 years ago. Now it's just a math problem. 91,000 divided by 0.65. How much is that, you say?
Got 140 on the sheet.
Got 140 on the sheet. I'm going to go with that. That sounds about right.
I don't know what you got there, but.
I took the 91,000, divided it by 65, because it's worth 65% of what it was 7 years ago. It was worth 100% of its value 7 years ago. The next year it dropped 5%. And it sounds like 2009 maybe.
And see,
They were going down.
with this one, you have to know not to subtract the 5% from the 100, because you're gonna leave out that 7 years.
Right, and that's why I wrote it, and wrote it here and then put the number there. Because you won't see that. And you just put the 5 there and
Subtract.
I got you.
Yeah.
there it is. 140,000. So there's a 5% times the 7 years, you were left with 65% of its original value. You think the same thing would work if it had appreciated 5% per year for the last 7 years?
That means it would increase.
Could we use the same formula?
You can, but.
Can, and what will we have to change?
Yeah.
That to a plus.
That to a plus. That's y'all got that. Here it is. It appreciated 5% for the last 7 years. What was the original price? Now, this is the only time the big number is going to be on the top. If this number, the rate number, is over 1%, the big number goes on top. Just keep in your mind, little number on top, big number on the bottom. But if you get one of these that says appreciated, you know that that's going to be 100% plus. So the big number is going to go on the top. And there it is. It's still a house today is worth 91,000. Here it is, appreciated. The house today is worth 91,000. So that's results. Up top, appreciated. The only thing we had to do is change that. Instead of minus 35%, it's plus 35%. So we got 91,000 divided by 1.35, and there was our original price. They paid $67,000 for that house 7 years ago. The beautiful part about the T formula is if you put the numbers in the wrong place, and there are only two numbers you could put in the wrong place, you'll get a goofy number. And you'll say, that's just not right. That doesn't make any sense. But they're going to give you the goofy number as one of your wrong answers. They will allow you to put the wrong thing in the wrong slot and solve it, and you'll say, ah, there it is. $122,850. Now, how could that be if it's worth $91,000 today and it's appreciated, and you get a little number down here that I'll just think, no, that's not right. Y'all shaking heads, y'all seeing that? Good. Self-correcting formula. Here it is. What did the owner originally pay for the home today? Originally pay for the home if it's sold for $98,672. All right, $98,672. Where does that go?
At the top result.
Right. That's our results. 98,672. We got that one out of our way, which gave them a profit of 12% over the original cost. Doesn't that sound like the same one we just did, except we're not multiplying 5 by 7? They gave us the number. 100. Profit is same as appreciation, gone up. So what are we going to have, a minus or plus? Plus. And they gave us the number, 0.12. So we got 1.12. 98,672 results divided by 1.12. And they originally paid $88,000 for that house. You see the common thread we're going through here? You're given two things. And they're going to be two slots those things can go in. If you're given the rate, you never move it. You know it always goes here. Never, ever anywhere else. Now, if you're given the rate, you're going to be given one of these numbers. Deal with it. Where does it go? Put it in this slot, solve it. If the number looks wrong, put it in another place. Solve it again. That's all there is to it. Self-correcting formula. All right, here's a loan to value. Same thing. We're looking for a percentage. There it is, a percentage of a loan. There's the purchase price. Purchase price is the price of the house. That's $100,000. Purchase price of the house. And 80% loan to value. Is it 80% going up here or down here? Always. And we're going to do 0.80. What do we do?
Multiply.
Multiply 100,000 times 0.8. Is that what y'all got? Yeah, times across the bottom. See the times? If you're going this way, you're going to multiply. This way, we're going to divide. Alright, let's take a little room here. What is the purchase price? It sounds like I'm looking for that number. If the loan is $176,000, and it's at 96.5%. Now I got to deal with that 96.5%. I got to move that decimal. 0.965. 96.5. Uh-oh, I messed up now. I messed up now. Oh, goodness.
You got too much in your hand.
Purchase price. We're looking for the purchase price. That's the price of the house. Purchase price of purchase, that's the big number. That's what we're looking for here. Says our loan is 176. That's a clue right there. That's the little number. Because that's the loan. And it's always less than the purchase price.
Yes.
So there's our loan amount. There's our percentage, our loan to value, LTV is what that means. So we're gonna put 176 in the calculator, hit the divide button by our rate. And what is the purchase price of that house?
182,000.
182,
383.
380 something. Okay? Let's see. Y'all picking this up now. You see how it's coming together? You just have to do a couple of them and then you say, oh, I see. Now here's where we're gonna put a little kink in it.
On that head.
Yeah, I'm gonna, each one gets a little kinkier.
Oh,
Can I just have me a secretary to keep up with my money?
After you pass the test,
I'm gonna pass the test.
okay, so.
90% loan to value. All right, where's that 90% go?
At the bottom.
It can't go anywhere but right here.
0.90, okay.
Loan on a $88,000 house. So that's a purchase price, sounds like?
Yes.
88, 500. Now, we got that times this. How much was the loan?
How much potential?
Yeah, how much was the loan?
79,650.
$650. That's your loan amount. Now, we got to get off the T formula a minute, but we've got the numbers we need to work with. We got our results, the $79,000 loan.
What? You trying to do too much.
Steve needs
Our
secretary.
$79,000 is going to go right here.
You sure?
79,650. That's how much money we've got to put down. Because we bought a house for $88,000, got a 90% loan on it. That's how much the loan was. How much did we, how much have we, the 10%? We could have done this other way. We could have done this times 10% and given us this number. But I want you to see how it flowed. All right, so what's this number?
8850.
8850. All right, now it says we put $4,500 down. So that's how much we put down already. How much more money do we have to come up with?
4350.
$4,350. Okay, there we put our numbers in. Got that. There's our 88.5 minus the 4,500. So we still need 4,350. See, y'all did all that without getting ahead of me there. Well, I mean, y'all did get ahead of me. I was behind y'all on this one. Now, again, they're going to give you the opportunity to not read this. Yes, they will. They'll give you that opportunity, and one of your answers will be the total that you had to put down, $88,500. $8,850 will be one of your answers. Along with the $4,500 earnest money, that'll be one of your answers. And then the real answer, the one you answer, is this one. But they're going to give you some others if you worked it wrong. They'll give you the opportunity to pick that one. Didn't we just do one like this?
So it's appreciated.
I think we did one.
That's the original price, so 98,000 will go on the top.
Okay, the original price of the home. What was the original price of the home? Sounds like that number, doesn't it? What was the original price of the home? That sounds like that one.
Okay. Then on the top is the 98,672.
Sold today, yes, 98,
And then the percentage,
672,
so,
which gave the the purchaser 12% profit.
0.12.
Right, we got 100% plus the 12%. So we got 1.12. What else we got to deal with? Oh,
Yeah, you
no.
lost me on
He
that.
paid $5,000 of the buyer's closing costs. What are we gonna do with that? Well, we know it doesn't go here because we don't know what that number is.
Right.
We know it's not gonna go here because it's not a percentage. So we're gonna have to deal with it here. So it says after paying 5,000. So he got this much money after he paid $5,000 in closing costs. So
Wouldn't it be plus?
plus, is it plus?
If that's what he had after.
Profit over.
Yes, over, yes, you're right. So it's, no. Yeah, I was right. Y'all trying to convince me I'm wrong here.
No, we just trying to learn.
We trying to get right.
He got
After paying.
that after he paid that.
After paying $5,000.
So- There it is. He got 93,672. That's the number we gotta deal with. This divided by this gives us this. See that? 12, because this number's gonna be smaller because you got profit. There it is, 83,635. And they're gonna give you all these other answers that you could have forgot that, or you could have added it to it.
I ain't get it, I'm sorry.
This is the hardest one. Well, actually, the next one's the hardest one you'll ever have to do. And it's just a continuation of this one.
Can I have a beer?
Seller wants you to add your 5% commission to the $100,000 needed to get the sale. All right, remember how we did this before? We just took it off of our money.
95%.
So we got 95%, so what are you getting? So what was the listing price? $100,000 divided by 0.95? And remember, this is not a net listing. Net listing says you can have anything over this. Here you're saying a number. 105. And again, we had that other one. Can I just add the 5% to this and get the right number? No,
Yeah.
because it won't be right. Now, this next one is the most difficult one you'll have to deal with. And it's just a continuation of this. Oh, no! Oh, no! The buyer wants you to pay $5,000 of their closing cost. And the seller wants you to add your 5% commission. So how do we deal with that? Same thing we did with all the rest of them. That's what he needs. Got to pay the buyer's closing cost. So he needs $105,000 to pay that. Because he's going to get $100,000.
His net.
His net. So we add the 5 to it, so 105 is what we've got to work with. Remember, we took our commission out over here before, 95%.
So we got to do what? Divide 90.95.
105 by 0.95. And that's what we'll need for him to walk away with $100,000. This is the hardest problem you'll have to do in real estate math. And it's because, the reason it's hard is because you're having to deal with two different parts of the formula. That's what you're gonna get. He's gotta sell a house, we gotta, at the closing, there needs to be $110,526. Now here's the wonderful part about this. When they wanna add closing costs and add your commission, you are fine with that. Because now, instead of you getting paid a 5% commission on 100,000, you're gonna get 5% on 110,000. You're gonna make extra what?
I don't know how much it's gonna be, but I know.
Well, $10,000 at 5%, you make about extra, what, $500? Say, yes, sir, we can work that for you. Let me get my pencil out. I said, you want, how much you want to pay for them? You know, we can pay all their closing costs if you want to. You be good with that.
Because the more you add to it, then the more commission you get.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
That pretty much knocks out all the hard stuff in math. Let's take a quick break. Let y'all get your heads straight again.
Reset.
Reset my brain.
Reboot.
Let's take a, I guess
I work at,
we can't use that model here.
the company that I last worked for, we were getting 13% of our annual salary.
This is a nickel and dime business here. You gotta get a lot of nickels together to get a roll of them. So, I mean, it's little money here, little money there, but you just keep piling it in and you have enough. Now, this is something that's really important right here. Antitrust. You can't, let's just say all of us are brokers here in Birmingham and we're meeting for lunch and we're sitting around and I bring up the topic. You know, we've been at 8% for, you know, a long time now, and we just can't make it on 8%. We really need to get our commission up to about 10%. What do y'all think about that? Y'all say, oh yeah, I'd like 10%. And we start talking about it, and you say, yeah, I'm with you. And for long, we got 3 out of the group saying, yeah, I'm with you. I'll raise mine to 10. You do it. What have we done?
Broke the law.
We broke the law. Remember our number 1 priority? Protect the public. You think that's protecting the public? We're colluding to raise our commission rate? No, we're going to be in trouble for that. It goes all the way back to 1890. It's called Sherman Act. Violation of antitrust laws. You can't even say, because people will ask you, well, what's the going rate? What's the going rate here in Birmingham? Well, your response should be, our company charges based on the services we offer. Now, we can put it in MLS, and we can do the pictures, we can do drone pictures, we can do a Matterport pictures where it may look like a dollhouse. All those things cost money. They do. That Matterport guy, you think he's going to come set up that camera and do all that editing for free? He's going to bring his drone, fly around the house for free? No. You got to sell the value of your service and say, for all these things, we charge this. Now you've got to keep in mind, there's another agent out there, the selling agent, that's going to want to get paid too. What do you think we should pay them? It may be a different number. We were talking here 6%. That would split 3 normally. Doesn't have to. The listing broker can keep whatever that they want. They could keep 5% of it. Offer 1% out. You can split it any way you want to do it. If you're the one doing all the work, you got the Matterport and you did, you spent $2,000 marketing this house. You might want a bigger cut of that commission, but that's up to your broker. Your broker's got to set, what some of them do, set an office policy that says the minimum we will accept for a listing commission is this, and then you have to deal with that. My thought is, if you want to work for free, it's fine. Do you?
No.
Then you're probably going to get some money. And you need to be thinking about, well, here's what I can do. Here's what I do for you. Here's what I want in return. If you can sell your value, the problem is they discount your value the minute you do the service. Let's just say I put a $100,000 house on the market today and said we want 10% for selling it. And the seller's just desperate. I've got to be out of Birmingham in 3 weeks. This has got to be sold. I got to be in the moving truck and gone. 10% sounds fine for me. You do Matterport and you do everything you got to do. You get this house sold. this afternoon, I get a full price offer, $100,000. Does he think I earn my 10%? No. No, they don't. They will discount your value just as soon as you've done the work. That's why you've got to sell the value up front. Here's what all I'm doing for you. What you doing for me? I'm gonna get a little of it. So I just want a little of it. You're never gonna get 10% on so y'all, those are crazy numbers. Those crazy numbers, man.
I mean, do you have a minimum and do you have a maximum?
Our policy is here, you work for what you wanna work. You wanna work for 3%, 4%, 5%, whatever you can convince your seller to pay you, I'm good with it.
Oh.
Because your pimp's gonna get their cut.
Okay.
Pimp's gonna get their
Yeah.
cut, so you, as long as you keep bringing the pimp some money,
Yeah.
He's happy.
You
Happy.
Yep, gotcha.
buy me a new hat,
Yeah.
long fur coat.
No, Steve. With his pink suit on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Percent normally, split, okay, we got all that covered, got that, good. Now down the bottom, we may have a national franchise fee. This is common with franchises like Remax, Keller Williams, Exit, there's a bunch of them. They get, normally, we'll get to that one, I think, right here. Right here. Normally they'll get 6% right off the top. Yeah. And you got other fees. Your company may charge a transaction fee per transaction. And if your seller or your buyer won't pay it, guess who's gonna pay it?
Oh, wow.
You gotta pay it.
You will pay it. You sign on with these companies, that's what you're gonna do.
And that's not the transaction fee that's written up in the contract, you know, like when they have all of the different fees and the this.
No,
This
this
is
is,
the-
if you join a national
Right.
company, oh, just, Remax, for example. You think that balloon stays up in the air, just from hot air?
No,
No, agents are pouring money into that basket every month
it made the balloon big.
to keep the balloon up in the air so people will call Remax.
Right.
Wow.
That's how,
So they got advertising dollars and all that stuff that they have to cover.
yeah, a lot of them have that in there. There's advertising, and I think that's about what the Remax balloon charges, about $300 a month. But then they get leads from that. As long as you're getting at least $300 back, you're okay with it. They don't have a real high turnover rate, so I'm guessing they said that's good. A lot of companies charge you a bunch of other fees. Just be in the building, you got a desk fee, you got a phone fee, copier fee, you got this
So
fee,
you
that.
using it.
Well, that's what they say, but agents don't come in the office. The only time agents come in here is to bring checks. That's the only time. They don't come in here to sit. You can't make any money in here sitting. You need to be out doing something.
Unless you're using the phone or something, you can say,
You got a cell phone.
no, I ain't, no, No.
E&O insurance.
Is
This
that
means
required?
errors and omissions.
Error.
That's a professional insurance policy that they stopped requiring in 1987 here. Most companies don't have it because all the contracts are written by lawyers. All you do is fill in. You're not writing contracts. You're just filling in holes. So how'd you omit anything? What kind of error did you make? But it's about $500 a year per person. Some companies require it. Multiple listing service. If you want your listings out in the public market, you got to have a place to put them. MLS is like a posting board. You take your listing stuff, put it on the posting board, then another agent can look on the posting board and say, oh, that's what I'm looking for. It's got your name, contact number, the commission you pay in, and they'll call you. Well, they don't even call you anymore. Now everything's computer.
Electronic.
You go on and it's showing time. You just click showing time, sends them a message. Can I see it 4 o'clock tomorrow? And they'll send you a message back. Yes. And that's the only contact you have with the agent. Board of Realtors. This is a trade organization. It's always written in capital letters. And I think it's supposed to be an R, not a C. That's copyright. Always in caps. That's a trade organization, and they're $500 a year. Not all agents are realtors. In fact, probably half of them are not. You want to pay the $500, then you can be a realtor, and then you've got access to more training. They have classes you can go take. They've got them online. There's a lot of stuff you can get out of you. You can get $500 worth of value out of it if you'll use it. Problem is, most people won't use it. And you say, why am I paying that? Well, use the services and it'll have value for you.
So if you're not a realtor, then.
Yeah, you're a licensed agent. You can do anything anybody else can do. The only problem you have is on MLS. If you're not an MLS member, you don't have access to the posting board. And the little electronic key that we get into houses with now, you can't get one of those if you're not an MLS member. I think that's restraint of trade, but that's just my opinion.
So it can vary from $35 to $50. It's no set
Well,
price.
it'll be $35 if you're also a member of the Realtor group.
Gotcha.
If you don't want to join this, they charge you extra on this, which I think that's illegal too. My opinion.
Crazy.
I call that a tying agreement. Just my opinion.
Mine?
Especially because MLS is, like you said, is separate.
Yeah,
So they're their own thing. They're not even under like the commission or anything.
I don't know, but they can justify it. And my little voice is that big. And as you know, as long as I'll pay my dues, they'll let me access the bulletin board.
Right.
And that's what I need, so I gotta pay whatever they say pay.
Right.
That's what it boils down to. If it was $1,000 a year, you'd have to pay it. Monopolies. Other trade groups. Got a couple listed here. This is a property management group. That's a commercial group, but they're just like the Realtor. It's a trade organization. You join there, you pay some dues, and you get more training.
Okay.
Lots of training. Training, you'll never get enough training. It's going to be about $10 an hour, normally. Your CE classes, pretty much anything you do will be about $10 an hour. Okay, we got that calculator problems. You're not allowed to take a calculator except a simple one in with you. So you can't do time value calculations in the test because you won't have a calculator that'll do that. So they've got to give you the number. But you can do it yourself. In fact, on your phone you can get an app that'll do time values. But the basic Texas Instrument calculators, they got buttons like this right away across. You put in the number of months, 360, the interest rate per year is 12%, the loan was $100,000, hit compute and it'll tell you the payment's going to be $1,029 a month. That's principal and interest, 30-year amortized loan. Amortized means it pays until it's dead. All the way to the end, same payment. Now, your payment can change because of taxes or insurance will go up over time. But your principal and interest will never change. It'll be $1,029 every month. There's another type loan called a balloon, and that's where it may be amortized over 30 years. So you're paying $1,029 a month, and then in year 7, you got to pay it all off. That's called a balloon payment. And a balloon payment, the definition of it is it's at least 2 times what a regular payment is. Balloon payments, we don't get a whole lot of them. We used to have interest-only loans. We don't, I don't think we do those anymore either. But this is, if you have a problem on the test, it's gonna say, what is your principal balance after the first payment? Second payment, third payment, they will give you a number. What is the balance after that? This is what you gotta know. You had a beginning balance of $100,000. That was our 12% times that. Our interest, there it is, our first month's interest is gonna be $1,000. 100,000 times 12% divided by 12 would be $1,000 interest that first month. Y'all see that? Y'all with me right there? Okay? Now, our principal is the $29. So out of that $1,029 payment, 29 of it
Went to the loan.
went to the loan. 1,000 of it went to the finance company. Yeah, the interest. So, your question is, what's the loan balance after the second payment? We just got to take the $29 off of the $100,000, and there's our balance after the first payment. They may say the second payment. If it is, then you just do that again, and there it is after the second payment.
That's why you'll never get the paying for nothing.
No, well, here's the real. Look at this. If you make all these payments at this, you pay $370,000 on a $100,000 loan.
Yeah.
Woo!
That's
We
terrible.
need to be in the loan
shark. I
business.
know, loan shark.
Be in the loan business.
Yes.
$270,000 in interest.
More than what? 3 times.
Woo.
Yeah. And break your fingers when you gonna pay it.
Yes, Lord.
Some of us have assistants. I have an assistant. I couldn't do this job without an assistant. That assistant has to be licensed because a lot of the things he does requires a license. You can be more efficient, productive, but they have to be able to do a barn sale. Got to be licensed. Your unlicensed assistant, let's just say I hired somebody to come in here to help me do files. Do they need a license? No. I can bring them in, but they can't go out and show a house for me. The licensed assistant can go show the house. Unlicensed, file, do other things. It can be anything you agree on. Hourly, percent, just whatever y'all agree to. Now, we were talking back on the hourly or fee-based. That's where it would come into this. Like, you may go hold an open house. When you're listing and just go hold the open house, you're probably not going to make anything. Well, how about you give me at least some gas money? All right, well, you may give them, some gas money or something to go hold open house for you. You may even, if it sells while they're there, split it with them. Give them a piece of the action. But chances are they're going to go there and sit there for 2 hours. And somebody comes in or somebody doesn't. Somebody does, they may sell that one or pick them up as a client to sell them another house somewhere. This is a numbers game. You've got to deal with a lot of people to make a sale. Now tell them how many people you'll answer the phone and they'll say, tell me about the house on Shades Crest. Well, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Now, how much is it? That's what I want to know.
Well, you should have said it at first.
That's what they want to know because as soon as you give them the price, they're gone. At least give them a chance. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,400 square feet, and the rent's $4,000 a month. Thank you. But would you want to go out there and meet them? No, because they can't afford it. Some of them, they keep going out there anyway. Well, I want to see it anyway.
No, it ain't finna be.
Yeah, I don't make $4,000 a month. But I sure would like to see it. I know it's a nice house.
I just made $400 a month.
Everything, if you are licensed, any money you get has to come through the company. through your broker. Now, if you have a licensed assistant, that money also has to go through the broker. Your unlicensed assistant, no. They're not licensed. They're not part of the broker. They're your employee. You deal with their Social Security, match it, and put their pension money in there. Eyebrows raising. Oh, see why we're all on commission here, huh?
So that's why a lot of them switch to, no, I'd rather have someone licensed.
Yeah. Well, license it. All right, here we are on property taxes. Property tax is in arrears. That means the year that's just passed. Right now, we've got our notices. I got mine,
A week ago?
yeah, it wasn't long ago, and it says, your house is worth this. And I said, what? Write me a check. It's not worth near that. But that's what they've assessed it. And assessed is not an appraisal. It's what they will use bulk assessing on. They have found everything within this area is about this value per square foot. And they can assess your house based on that and come up with a tax bill for you. That taxes, they're due October the 1st, got to be paid by December 31st. Now, if you don't pay it by December 31st, they will put your name in the paper,
Yes, they
along about March,
Yes, they will.
saying you haven't paid your taxes, here's the address. Well, actually, they use parcel numbers, it's hard to find them from there. But your name's in there, and you can log down through there and say, wow, that house, I can buy that house for just that? Well, you buy the tax certificate on it. They owe this a year's taxes. Let's just say it's $1,000, and they don't pay it, then somebody can buy that debt, and they get a 12% return on their money for that debt. And there's rules that if you keep it so long, keep paying the taxes, you can eventually get that property. But right now, let's just deal with prorations on taxes and how we figure those. Let's just say our house sells in the middle of the year, and the seller is going to owe that part that he lived there. Right? Buyer shouldn't have to pay for that.
Right.
That's the seller. He was living there. The seller needs to pay that. So that's going to be a debit on the seller and a credit to the buyer for half the year's taxes. So we said it was $1,000. So at the closing, there'll be a debit $500 to the seller, credit $500 to the buyer. Now that money just slides over on the closing statement. Now at the end of the year, the buyer hopefully kept that money and put $500 with it and then paid their taxes on December 31st. Otherwise, they'll be in the paper in March. Prorated, debit, 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 debt. Bad. Credit, good. Other prorations. There may be other prorations. Let's just say you've got a 10,000 gallon propane tank in the backyard that's got 5,000 gallons of propane in it. You want some money for that you left in the tank? Yeah, you could prorate that. There's still 5,000 gallons of propane in this tank, and we could prorate it. Here's how it works. We got our tax bill. Tax bill is $1,200 on this property. $100 a month. Taxes paid in arrears, so here the property tax was due actually December 31st here, and they paid it. Now the new year is starting. The first day of January, this property has a lien on it. From January 1st, there's an unwritten property tax lien on every house. When you go to closing, the title company, they've searched and they know how much your taxes are, and as of this date, we're going to prorate it. We're selling this house April 1st. So we've got January, February, and March, $100 a month that's due and unpaid. So the seller's going to have to get a debit for $300, and that 3 months will come a credit to this new owner. They're gonna be due, they've gotta pay the 900 here,
For the remaining year.
Cause they are.
plus this 300. Now, the way this works is, if you got a mortgage on your house, you don't have to come up with this money. In your payment, PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, taxes, they will, every month, they will take 1/12 of this $1,200, and that's part of your payment. Remember, we had $1,029 principal and interest. We would also have $100 worth of taxes on there, so our payment would be $1,129. And that 100's just sitting over here collected. And then at the end of the year, the mortgage company pays it. They don't trust you to pay it. They don't trust you to pay your insurance either. So same thing, you may have $1,200 worth of insurance, $100 a month is going to be on your payment. So this $1,029 payment is now $1,229. But they're going to pay your insurance and they're going to pay your taxes.
Right.
You don't want to come up at December 31st after you just spent all your money on Christmas and say, oh no, I got $1,200 worth of property taxes to pay. Maybe we can return some of this stuff. Y'all got that? Prorating, just how much have I used, and it's going to be a credit and debit. Here's how it shows up on the closing statement. You've got sellers here, buyer over there. Your seller, they get a credit for the purchase price of $100,000, and they have a debit tax proration. This one owed $1,000 worth of unpaid taxes. We got an attorney fee. They're going to split that $300 debit, and the commission. They paid a $5,000 commission. That's a debit to the seller as well. So we add these up, subtract, and the seller is going to get $93,000 at closing. The buyer on the other side, they have credits. They got a mortgage, $80,000 mortgage. So that's a credit to them. They had a debit of the purchase price. Where here, the purchase price with a credit to the seller, it's going to be a debit to the buyer. Loan, that doesn't show up anywhere on the seller, but it's a credit to the buyer. Tax proration, where we had a debit to the seller, that's now a credit to the buyer. On down earnest money, the buyer put $1,000 earnest money down. People get so confused about earnest money. It's a credit to the buyer. And on the closing statement, that's the way it shows up, credit to the buyer. They think that money just went away. They paid half of the attorney, so that was a debit seller and debit buyer. It doesn't always debit one, credit the other. Here we had debit to two. What else we got down here? Loan cost. All right, we had some points, and we had what was our loan was $80,000, and we had $2,000 worth of loan closing cost. Total $20,000 the buyers got to come up with. They get 93, they come up with 20. This is an 80% loan on this would be a conventional loan. We're going to talk about that Thursday night, our different types of financing. We had one earlier, that 96.5%, that's an FHA loan. This one's a conventional loan. There's another one, a VA loan, if you're a veteran, that's 100%. But there are a lot of fees, extra fees that go with that to get, because they're riskier. They want some insurance premiums and stuff with that. Here, 80%, the mortgage company says, you're good. You got 20% of skin in the game. You're not walking away. The one's got 100%, missed 2 paychecks, they're out of town. They have no skin in the game. They'll walk. Okay, we got assessed and appraised, different things. Put that down. What plane will that play?
Where you going at?
Assessed is the tax man's idea of what it's worth. Appraisal is an appraiser. They're sometimes close, sometimes not. You're gonna pay taxes on this amount, but the loan amount will be based on this. Now we have different classifications. These are also called zoning districts. Classification is RCA is zoning. RCA used to be a radio company. They made TVs and stuff. Well, RCA is residential, commercial, agricultural. Then you've got IS, that's industrial and special purpose. Residential, on our taxes, if you live in the house, you can homestead it. That means you will only pay taxes on 10% of its assessed value. You got it as a rental, you double that. You'll pay 20% on assessed value.
Because it's not your primary residence.
Right. There's some other exemptions that if you are old, 65 and poor, income under, I don't know what the number is, but it's probably somewhere around, I don't know, $15,000-$20,000.
14.
Well, I get 14.
Because I was looking at my mother-in-law's
Okay.
today. Reason why that number stuck out to me was $14,000.
Well, if you are old and poor, you don't have to pay any taxes. Commercial, that's going to be taxed at the 20%. Agricultural, that's going to be at a lower rate. You couldn't tax corn fields and cotton fields at 20%. You couldn't afford to grow anything on it. So it's taxed at a lower rate. Industrial, that's probably going to be more like commercial in their rates. And then special purpose, that's a library, fire station, those kind of things. They're not taxed at all.
Oh, really? What was the living, what was that one?
Which one?
The residential, if you live in.
Residential, if you live in it and homestead it, you claim it, this is my primary residence, then you're taxed at 10% of this assessed value. If you are renting the house out, then it's going to be 20% of this. And then it's going to be based on what Ontaro's favorite word is, millage rate. Now, right, Ontario, she loves that word, millage rate. She said there were 3 questions on her test on millage rate. 3 questions now. Millage rate, millage rate. The word mill, M-I-L, means 1,000th. And these millage rates are 1,000th. And it's hard to get your head around it. Think of your own house when you're doing this. Think, okay, my house is worth, say, $100,000, and I'm being taxed at 10% of that because I'm homesteading it and I live there. So my assessed value is going to be $10,000. That's what they're going to figure the taxes on. Your millage rate on 10 mills is $100 per $1,000 of assessed value. So if you've got a $10,000 assessed value, you're going to get a tax bill of about $1,000. Think of it, you find your own numbers at your house and get those in your head. Because when you sit down and start figuring this out, 10 mills or is that a 50 mills, it's just going to throw you. Ontario will tell you, it's going to throw you.
Yeah.
So keep in mind what your taxes are. I gave you the example there. $100,000 house, they're taxing you because you live there at 10% of the assessed value. So they're taxing you on $10,000. If the rate is 10 mills, you're going to have $1,000 worth of taxes due. If you get the problem and you figure it out and it's a $100,000 house and it looks like you're going to have $10,000 worth of taxes on it, You got your millage wrong. You got a decimal place wrong. Different municipalities have different millage rates. Hoover, Vestavia, Homewood, Mountain Brook, they're probably all up somewhere around 10. You get into city of Birmingham and it's probably 8. It's less. You get into a county like outside of a city or yeah, you're rural. You're in rural. It may be 4.
Why the difference?
Services. You're here in Hoover, you got a lot of fire trucks, a lot of police, a lot of libraries, you got a lot of public expenses, a lot of roads got to be kept up. You out in the rural, you may not even have a library. No police. Fire's a pay as you go. You got to pay a fire due out there. Here, the fire due is included in the 10 mills. Your millage is going to be based on services. Okay, we got all of that. Homestead exemptions, I'm not sure, I gotta look this up because I just don't know that this is true anymore. Used to, if you got foreclosed out of your house, you got to keep first $5,000 of the money. This, I think, went all the way back to the Depression when people were losing their houses and they came up, well, you got to have a little money to get started back. I don't think they're doing this anymore. Don't hold me to that. Let me find out if that's still true. Capital gains. Let's just say you have this property. I'll have a number here. I got one somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Capital gains. You bought a house in 2005 as a rental, and you paid $100,000 for it in 2005. It cost you $5,000 to buy it because you had loan closing costs and you had all appraisal, you had attorneys, you had other costs. You can figure $5,000 on a $100,000 house and cost. You got ready to sell it. The real estate agent said, I'm going to want a commission to do this. So you got money going out. So you had a total cost of $10,000 added to that, yes. So your cost basis for this property is $110,000. And you're selling it today for $140,000. So what'd you make? You made $30,000 on the deal. Now, well, this one we held for a long time, from 2005 to 2019, so that kicks us into the capital gains tax, which is 15% flat. That's what it is right now. It changed next year, but right now, and it's been 15 for years. You'll only pay 15% on this $30,000. So you'll have a tax bill of $4,500 on this house when you sell it, because it was a rental property. You made a profit on it. Doesn't apply if it's your personal home and you're selling it. You've got a big exemption on that. Well, married, it's $500,000. Single, $250,000. You're not going to make a $250,000 profit on many houses. So here's reality. You made $30,000, you got to pay the tax man $4,500 of it. Now, let's just say you did this as a flip, and you bought it in February of this year for $100,000, and you painted it and put some carpet in it and sprayed some free breeze around. You got the big 5-gallon bucket.
I want to prorate that.
Yeah, you can program what I got left. But it took all 5 gallons. Woo, smell like cat urine in here. But you bought it in February, here it is October, and you got all this done, you put it on the market, and you sold it for $140,000. You still made the same thing. You made $30,000 on this flip, but you held it for less than a year. So this $30,000 now is not taxed at this rate. This $30,000 is added on top of your income. You made $100,000 this year, they're gonna add $30,000 on top of it.
Wow.
That's gonna push you up into a higher tax bracket.
Why do they do it that way when it's a
Because
short
they can
period
make more
of time?
money that way.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Everything's about money. Haven't y'all learned that yet? Everything's about money.
So you just, it's basically, so the 30,000 goes back to your income.
If you held it less than a year,
Hold it less than a year.
yeah, that profit,
They,
Okay.
you made 30,000 in profit in
They
6
treat that-
months.
they treat that profit as income versus profit
Mhm.
when it's spread over a longer period of
Now
time.
here it's a long-term capital gains taxed at 15%. Short-term capital gains, it just loads on top of your income. I wonder about people that flip and sell it within 1 year. Looks like if you just, take your time, just get right over that 1 year mark, looks like you'd make a whole lot more money.
Yeah, but if they gotta, now if they finance it themselves, then yeah, but if they,
And you open a whole new can of worms there. If you're holding the note on it, these rules are gonna change even more because you didn't get that money right now. You're gonna be getting it over years, so the rules are gonna change. But just for capital gains, less than a year, it's added to your income. More than a year, it's at 15%. Now, this is important down here. We're gonna learn a lot of things like how these taxes work. We're gonna learn a lot of things about contracts and legal stuff. Unless you went to law school, and I didn't, and I've never played a lawyer on TV either. I stayed in the Holiday Inn Express, so I think I know everything. But do not give tax or legal advice.
You can't.
No, you don't have the papers.
No. I ain't even got the man, so I know I can't be no lawyer.
Interest. Interest is paid in arrears, like taxes. If our loan closes in the middle of January, we're gonna pay interest through the rest of January to get that note started on the 1st of a month. So the note will actually start the 1st of February, but you won't make a payment until the 1st of March, because you're gonna pay the interest for February the 1st of March because it's in arrears. You don't pay interest in advance. You pay it after you use the rent. It's rent on money is interest. So you've used it this whole month, but to get to that month, you close it in the middle of January. So you're gonna owe half a month's interest today at closing. That shocks some people. Whoa, what was that for? Well, that's to get the loan in balance. And once it's in balance, then it just rocks every month, 1st of the month. Okay, got that. One little thing too on payments. If you get paid every 2 weeks, set your loan up to come out on your payday every 2 weeks.
pay less interest.
At the end of the year, you've paid more than a year's worth of payments on it. And you're paying them sooner, so you're not paying interest on like that half a month. And it just, you'll pay it off instead of 30 years if you'll just put it to your pay cycle of every 2 weeks. I don't know what it is, but it's probably somewhere around 23, 25 years, and it's paid out.
Making 2 house payments. Is that what you're saying, making 2 house payments? No.
No, this is normal payments are due on the 1st of the month. But if you get paid every 2 weeks, like a lot of people do, then set your payments up
Oh,
to where your house payment's gonna come out every 2 weeks on your payday. Then you're not paying as much interest and it's coming out quicker, and at the end of the year, you've made extra payments, so you're paying it off years ahead of the 30. And you didn't even notice it.
They're on bankrate.com. It has a bunch of different calculators,
Hi, yes.
loan, mortgage, auto, and it'll let you play with those numbers to see if you did it that way, how much sooner you'll pay it off.
Just a little side note.
And armored bank rate by code.
Yeah, that's
then
not
give you
on the test.
amortization.
That won't be, this is what'll be on the test, is how you get it squared away for the next month. How do you figure how much people can afford? We're gonna do finance next week, Thursday night, but just to kind of get us somewhere doing math tonight, we're gonna look at math on finance. Buyer's income is $4,000 a month. There are two numbers on financing, a front-end number and a back-end number. Your front-end number is the payment. The back-end number is all your payments. Your front-end number can only be 28% of your income. So if you make $4,000 a month, you can multiply that by 0.28, and you can make a house payment of $1,120. That's all you qualify for. Not $1,500. I'm making $4,000 a month. I can pay $1,500. No. 28%. They will qualify you for $1,120. Now, the back end number is your car payment added on that. Student loans, recurring debt. That's only 36%. So you got 36% times the 4,000. So the total of your house payment and all your long-term debts, $1,440. How does anybody ever qualify? People I'm dealing with now, they got student loans up to here. Car payments $800 a month for 50 years.
What you down there?
I don't know how people finance stuff.
A Lamborghini.
Good job.
Is that how, do these numbers, ratios change over a certain period of time, or do they pretty much stay the same?
I would say they would probably change as economics change. But just right now, this is what they're comfortable with this. This is called a conforming loan. That means that it meets the criteria for the company that placed your loan to sell it into the secondary market, which we'll talk about them Thursday night. But if you don't, you can get a loan, maybe $1,500 a month as your payment based on this, but they can't sell it to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and all these other Macs that are out there. They'll have to hold that loan themselves, called a portfolio loan.
Now, is that 4,000, is that gross income
Gross.
or net gross income?
Gross. Yeah, well, it's a long way from there to here, and it's taxes and food, those kind of things. Okay, got that. Only allows you, at this income, these ratios, you only got $320 that you can pay like a car payment with.
Oh, that's a big top.
Alright, there it is, just in the straight equation. Points, we looked at points already. The reason you may pay points is because you need to fool with the interest rate. That's how you change the interest rate. Let's just say you want to buy a house and you need $1,000 worth of closing cost, and you don't have $1,000. They can bump the interest rate up just a little bit, and they will cover that for you. And this is how you figure out how much it is. 1 point increases the lender's yield by 1/8 of 1%. So you had a $100,000 loan, and you got 1 point on it, that's $1,000, and they would pay $1,000 worth of your closing costs. But instead of you paying, let's say your interest rate was 4%, you do this, you'll be paying remember 1/8? Remember what that number was?
0.125.
Yes, exactly. It'd be 4.0125. That's the rate you would pay for the length of the loan. We're going to get to how that works here in a second. You can buy down your interest rate as well by doing this. They're quoting you 4%. and you say, well, I don't want to pay 4% for 30 years. I'd rather pay 3.5%. So that's 1/8 times 4. That's a half point.
So
So
then you gonna put more of that as a down
Right,
payment?
you could put, and in that case, that would be $4,000. You could pay the mortgage company up front, and now your interest rate is 3.5%. Builders do this. They want you to be able to qualify for more, because they qualify you in your first year. Income payments first year. If the builder says, okay, we could sell way more houses if the interest rate was a little lower, because you could qualify for a higher payment. So they will prepay interest for you for that first year, and it'll qualify you at a lower rate. It may be to the second year, I'm not sure. I know it's first or second year they qualify you, but that's how it works. You can buy your interest rate down. The builder can buy it down for you. Or you need closing costs, you can bring it up. But it's all 1/8 of 1% per point. Okay, just covered that. All right, $350,000 loan. Buyer pays an origination fee of 1 point. Origination fee is what you pay the mortgage company to do the paperwork, to take your application and process it for you. You're going to pay that mortgage originator 1% normally, maybe more, maybe less, but let's just call it 1%. So on a $350,000 loan, you got to pay an origination fee 1%. How much will that be?
3 times 5.
Can you move your hand out? Oh, okay.
1% of that, $3,504. That's your origination fee. That's different from your lender, other closing cost, or you're buying down the rate. That's different. This is just to pay the guy to do your mortgage application, yeah. Now, you also wanted to pay 3 discount points. Because you want the interest rate down, or you
wanna
needed
buy it down.
Okay, you wanted to buy it down, or you needed that much to pay your closing cost. Either way, this is what it would be. It'd be 3 times this 1%, $10,000 worth of points here.
Why did you do it by the 3,504?
Because that's 1% of this number.
Okay, so you,
This is
and if it's
3
if it's
discount
three,
points.
okay,
So it'd be
gotcha.
3 times
Mhm,
that, and 3 times this should be that.
mhm.
Okay, based on loan amount, origination fee, discount points. Points are based on loan, not purchase price. And these fees, like on a veterans loan, VA, FHA loan, the reason you're getting that loan is you don't have a lot of money to put down. You may not have any money to put down. Some of these costs can be rolled into the loan. You get a $100,000 VA loan, you can put your funding fee, which is about 1.5 right now, on top of it. So you don't have to write them a check for $1,500. Now you have a loan for $101,500. Y'all see that? Just layered it on top. Any of it can be done that way. We do this all the time in contracts. You need $5,000 worth of closing cost. Okay, you don't have it. How can we get it for you? We can do it this way, or we can go to the seller and say, Mr. Seller, can you pay $5,000 worth of closing costs for the buyer? And what's the seller going to say?
Can you pay that for me?
Pay half or no.
Okay, we can negotiate, or we can say, sure, we'll be glad to pay your $5,000 in closing costs, and we'll just drop it on top of the purchase price. Remember, we had one of those. $100,000 and the buyer wanted to pay $5,000 in closing costs. We just added it right up here. This is where it happens. Can't be added in the loan. 100,000. Needs 4,000 in closing costs, 4 points to cover that. How much will that be? $4,000. 1% times 100 times 4, so that's $4,000 you need in closing cost. Now we can add that to the loan rate. Here, 4 points will be 1/8 times 4, that's 1/2. So we'd add that 1/2 to the loan. Well, our market rate is 5%, your loan would be 5.5%. And they paid you $4,000 in closing cost. Sounds fine to me.
What you talking about, Willis?
But what, I didn't have the $4,000. I want the house.
Okay.
How are you gonna help me do this? Well, we can add it to the price of the house, we can get the seller to pay all of it, negotiate part of it, we can get the finance company to raise the rate. Or you can get a gift letter from mama and she can give you $4,000. But here's what's happening here. You raised it from 5% to 5.5. On 100,000 for this, your payment's $536 or $567. I want the house today. Is that $31 going to mean anything to me?
No, right?
No, not at 500. No, 536 is the same as 567 at this point.
Absolutely.
And I didn't have to write a check for $4,000
Absolutely.
at closing. So let's do it this way. Here's what that's going to cost you. To get them to pay your $4,000 today is going to cost you $11,000. You don't care. You want the house. $31 doesn't mean a thing. I want the house. That's why this works. You're not going to stay there 30 years anyway. Average person stays 7 years. You cashed out, you forgot all about that $4,000. House has gone up in value, everything washes out. Your FHA mortgage is risky because you're loaning 96.5% of the purchase price to a person that if they're getting this, they don't have a bunch of money in their savings account. They may not even have the 3.5% they need to put down. So they're going to get an FHA loan. Now, since it's risky, they want something called mortgage insurance premium, MIP. That's on this type loan. It'll be a 1/2 point. They will add it, where is it?
Right there, every time they're PR.
Okay, here we go. Whatever it is, I'm saying 4% here, they'll just add that mortgage insurance premium to it. Your loan will be at 4.5%. That's in addition to any of that down payment money you needed. The 4.5% is going to be for I don't know how many years it'd be. The loan from the original amount, once it gets down to 80% of where it originally started, you can ask them to take the 0.5% off. Now, in addition to this 0.5% adding on here, they're also going to add a upfront fee on the FHA loan. And I think it's maybe 1.25 points right now that you pay up front. More risk. They're pretty much giving you the keys and say, take care of the house for me. Yeah, that's what they do. Here they want you to have a little skin in the game, and they want a little extra because people will default on this. They'll walk away if they have no skin in the game. Got that? 80%. They have to remove it when it hits 79%. That's the law. But you can ask them to do it at 80. And if you've been paying your payments on time, they will. Otherwise, they'll say, nah, you need a few more months. A conventional loan is 80% of the purchase price. This one, you got skin in the game. you don't have an upfront mortgage premium. You don't have an added-on mortgage premium. You're just getting the current market rate, which, I don't know, was 4%, 5%, whatever it is what you would pay if you got an 80% loan. Now, you can get a conventional loan at a higher one. You can get a 90%, a 95% conventional loan. But then you're going to have to pay that insurance premium on the whole loan. That's not good. That's a lot of money. The better way to do it would be to get your 80% conventional loan, and then that 20%, let's deal with that separately. Mr. Seller, can you hold a second mortgage for me? Absolutely. 10%, 7 years, I'm with you. And you would make that payment directly to the seller. You wouldn't have any insurance premiums or anything in this. You're just getting the straight market rate. FHA, 96.5, VA, 100%. Maybe there's a rural. Yes, ma'am.
You said the 20% would be paid to the seller?
Right, if you had 80%, you can get an 80% conventional loan, but you don't have any more money.
Right.
You can ask the seller to hold that or part of it.
Like seller financing?
Yes, seller
That
financing
gives
is
it involved.
called purchase money mortgage is what they're holding for you.
That's what
They're-
20%.
Yeah, they're loaning you the money is what they're doing. But they're not gonna do it for 30 years amortized loan. They're gonna say, well, current rate's 5, I want 10%, and I want it paid off in 7 years.
Would an individual ever?
Absolutely.
Really?
Happens all the time. No problem with that. If the seller's good with it, do it. Otherwise, you're gonna have to get one of these higher percentage loans that have all these premiums on it. You don't want that. Work around it. So that's why y'all going to real estate school now, is to learn how to work around problems. Conventional, the conventional one, remember back up one, we had mortgage insurance premium, MIP, on the government loans. The conventional loan, it's PMI. Initials are a little different, but it's still an insurance premium. And if your loan rate is, you're borrowing 90% on conventional, then you're gonna have a mortgage insurance on 90%.
FHA, somebody.
Yeah. Okay, so there's your seller purchase money mortgage, it's called. Wow.
What is the PMI,
PMI,
the amount that they charge, is it about the same as the
PMI.
The-
PMI? I mean, it's
Yeah.
the,
probably.
okay, you get what I'm
Because
saying.
it's an insurance, it's an insurance.
Insurance, okay,
And
okay.
the rates are probably gonna be about the same,
Okay.
because the risk about the same.
Mhm.
There are 3 numbers you need to write on your hand.
I've seen
But
it.
not in the test though.
Yeah, don't, be sure to wipe it off when you go to the test. But you need to write these numbers on your hand. There's the first one you need to write on your hand, 43,560. You will never just remember that number. You either gotta write it on your hand and look at it for several days before it goes away, or you need a memory technique. Y'all like memory techniques? I got one for you. An acre is 43,560 square feet. The 4 plus 3 is a 7. The 5 plus 6 is an 11. So you can stop at the 7-Eleven store on the way to the test and ask him, how big is an acre? And he'll say 7-Eleven. That's 4 plus 3, 5 plus 6.
43,000.
560. Now, how big is that? I can't say 43,000. How do you put your head around how big that is?
Walmart.
Fortunately for us, we've been to a football game. Just about everyone has been to a football game or seen one on TV, and you know how big the football field is. From goal line to goal line, sideline to sideline, is 45,000 square feet. 150 feet by 300 feet. That's 45,000 square feet. That's pretty close to an acre. Somebody said, how big do you think this lot is? I can put about 2 football fields there. That's about 2 acres. Don't get real exact.
Oh, okay.
Just, I can put 2 football fields there, that's a couple acres. And then next time you go in a Walmart store, like I don't even have that on there. Next time you go into a Walmart store, those super Walmarts, 125,000 square feet. How many acres is that? About 3. So you walk in the door next time, you look around and say, oh my goodness, this is 3 acres. A lot bigger than I thought it was. Another way to see an acre is it's about 200 feet by 200 feet. Close enough. It's actually 208.71, but 200's close enough. I can judge 200 feet. I can say, yeah, that's about 200 feet from there to there, and yeah, it's about 200 feet that way. This is about an acre. About. Close enough. Okay, that's our acre. Next one is mile. That's the second number you need to write there. 5,280. It's been a while since we were in the 5th grade. That's when you learn how many feet are in a mile. If you don't ever use it again, you probably don't remember it.
I don't.
No, people don't. So, how about another memory technique? If you're in Homewood, you can go 5 miles down Highway 280 and you'll be at Oak Mountain. Did y'all know that? Y'all been in Homewood. Y'all know where Homewood is? You know where Highway 280 is? You know where Oak Mountain is? In Homewood, 5 miles down to Highway 280. Oak Mountain, that is 1 mile. That's how many feet are in a mile. 5,280. Well, you're gonna have to know this. Ontario will confirm this. How many feet of fence will it take to go around a section? Well, yeah, we haven't done sections yet. That'll be in property description, but a section is a mile by a mile. They're going to expect you to know that a section is a mile by a mile. They're also going to expect you to know how many feet are in a mile. So they say, how many feet of fence will it take to go around the section? Well, I got one side here, 5,280 feet, and I want to go all the way around it. I'm going to multiply that by 4. And that's how many feet of fence it'll take to go around that section. It takes 21,000 feet of fence. You think they're going to make it that easy? No. They're going to say, once they got you to there, if they haven't lost you already, they're going to say, this fence cost $1 per square foot for materials, and it's 6 feet tall.
Oh, Lord.
And it costs $1 per linear foot to install it. So there you got now about a 4-part problem. But it's really not a difficult problem if you just know this one number. You got to know how many feet are in a mile before you can get the fence around the mile, before you can multiply that by the 6 and then add the labor.
Yeah.
And the material cost, they're saying per square foot, that's that big. And there's 6 of them. So you're going to have to multiply the 6 times the 21,000. That's how much material you have. And then you got to come back and multiply this by the labor cost per linear foot. That's going that way. Didn't you hear one of them? We did one of those the other night.
That's on the test too, good.
About a 4-part problem. But they got you right here. They got you before you ever started figuring it out because you didn't know how many feet were in a mile.
Oh, Lord. Do you not realize you have old people in this class?
I need me some some of that with walnuts,
Yeah, that's some brain food.
brain food. We're wrapping this up.
Ooh,
About another
Jesus.
3 hours, we'll be through.
So what?
They want you to know how to figure measurements, how big things are. And in measurements, in real estate, pretty much it's going to be square footage. That's what we like, square footage in real estate. When you're given numbers, you'll be given two numbers. You'll be given, the first number is always going to be your front foot. That's the number on the street. First number you get, street side, front number. The house is 60 feet wide and it is 30 feet deep. How many square feet are in there? How do you figure square feet? You say you multiply width times depth. So we're going to multiply 60 times 30, and that'll give us 1,800 square feet for this house. Now they have just started putting another problem on the test called volume. If it's square feet, not enough, they got volume now. Volume is just square feet times how tall is it. So this room is, say, 10 feet tall. To get the volume, we'd multiply that by 10 feet. And instead of having square number, now we got a cube number. Did you have any
I
volume?
didn't see anything with volume.
Okay, well, I've been told there's one out there on volume.
Okay.
So just know it's there, you gotta multiply it one more time. Okay, got that. From here, we had the square footage of the house. How about the square footage of the lot? Same thing, it works the same way. You got two numbers. This one is 600 by 300. Oh, how convenient. 600 by 300. So our square footage for the whole lot, we're just going to multiply those two and get 180,000 square feet for our piece of land. Now here's where you got to go back and get that first number you wrote on your hand.
The acreage.
How many square feet were in that acre? 43,560.
560.
Correct. 43,560. Tell you, you're gonna have
711.
you're gonna have to know that number, because here they gave you this 180,000 square feet, and then they say land in this area is worth about $30,000 an acre.
Oh, goodness.
Oh my goodness, what am I gonna do with that? Yeah, if I don't know how many square feet are in this, I'm in trouble. So I'm gonna have to divide this number by the 43,560, wherever it is. Yeah, there it is, right here. So we ended up with 4.3 acres, 4.13 acres. They said it's worth about $30,000 an acre. So our land is worth about $123,000. About. It's not going to be that exact. But that's our market value. That's what we think it is worth. Market price is what somebody wrote a check for. Market value is what you think it is. That's where you start. Here we've got, okay, we got our land. Now let's do our house. The house is 60 by 30, 1,800 square feet. Only heated and cooled above ground is included in livable area. You don't include the garage or the basement. Those have different values for the basement. It's not the same as the main floor. Homes in this area sell for about $120 a square foot. I could have made that easy for y'all and said $100 a square foot, but I knew it'd be late and y'all want to think this out. So we think our house is worth about $216,000. $120 a foot times 1,800 square feet. That's what we think it's worth. So we're going to add, oh, here's one more thing down here. In general, a community, not this has got acreage, so it doesn't apply, but just on normal house with a lot, the land's going to be worth about 20% of the total. You got a $100,000 house sitting right behind this office, the land's probably worth about 20. The house is worth about 80.
Okay.
Here, we had to separate them out. That's what I wanted to show y'all here. We had to separate out the house value from the land value because we had a lot of land. We couldn't just say, well, forget about the land. We got to value the land too, so we had to buy land, then house, add it together. Now we've added it together, our house, our land, the whole deal, we think is worth $339,965 to the penny. So we probably put this house on the market at what? What would y'all put that house on the market for? You'd think it's worth that. Where would you price it?
445.
$445. I'm sure we probably wouldn't get many showings at $445. I like that. I like $349. I like 49s, 59s, I like 9s. And this one, $339 is not a number I like. I like 49 better than 39. If I was going from 49, I probably wouldn't drop it to 39. I probably would drop it all the way to 25, 29, somewhere in there. That's not enough at this price to make people even notice it. So we're gonna put it on the market at say $349. 9. Always put that 9 out there. That's $1,000. Don't leave it laid on the table. Even though anybody that looks at it, they ignore that number place. Not even there. Market price value cost not related except in new construction, because you can get another one just like it. They built another one just like it right next door. I can get another one just like this one. The cost is brand new. This today's cost, today's market value, and it sells is today's price. It's the only time all three of these numbers are hooked together. 20 years out, you think cost has got anything to do with it. 20 years out, you think the
Market value.
You think $339, somebody else $349, somebody else $450. They don't relate. You're gonna come up, you're gonna figure out how to price it, where we should be, and then you're gonna look at the marketing. $349 sounds good. And you might want to look at what else is sold around there.
Yeah.
And you might even want to go visit them if they're on the market and see how does this compare to mine. Because people are looking at yours, looking at that one too. We have two principles here. Principle of substitution. You can buy one just like this one that's on the market for $349. You can buy one exactly like it across the street for $299. Which one are you going to buy?
Across the street.
That's principle of substitution. Got another one, principle of conformity. This house went in at we figured it was $1,800 at $120 square foot. Well, somebody pulled in a double wide mobile home, parked it right next to this. What happened to your value?
went
It went down.
Your value went down. Principle of conformity. They will either be all alike or it's going to pull prices down or pull them up. Progressions when you pull them up, that's where you got a mobile home park and you build a nice house in the middle of it. It's going to bring the mobile home values up because people are going to want to clean those out now and build houses there. Conformity. Okay, your property sold. We put it on at $349, but it sold for exactly what we thought it was going to sell for. How about that?
Well, that's wonderful.
It could happen. So it sold for $339. Now, where does that number go? Base. That's the price of the house.
It's sold.
$339,965.
Yeah.
And the commission was 16. Where does that number go?
That goes on the top.
On the top. 16,998 and 25 cents.
Yes.
That's real important, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is.
It is.
It
On
is.
the test it will be.
We don't guess.
So, what was your rate? What did you get paid? this is gross commission now,
5%.
5%. She said 5%, we're gonna call
Zero.
it 0.05. There it is. Now, did you get all that money? Probably not. The total commission was $16,998. The selling broker, you had the listing, because you did all this pricing, you put it on the market, you got the listing, but there's this company out there that got this balloon going up in the air every day, everybody watching it on TV, and I want them to represent me. So you got a Remax agent, worked out the deal for you. You think they want to get paid?
Yes.
Yeah, they probably do. So what we're gonna do? We've said that they're gonna get half the commission. They don't have to. We've already discussed that. We've already discussed that they don't have to get half of it. You can keep it 90% of it if you want to. But in this case, they're getting half. So what did the listing broker get as a gross company dollar? Where does this number go now? We had it up here before. Where does it go now? That's our base now. 16,998. And the selling broker got half of it. So what's going here?
0.05.
Oh,
25.
5 of them.
5. Yeah, 0.5. That's half.
Okay, right.
So what goes up here? This times this is going to give us what the selling broker got. That's going to be 8,000 something.
$8,499.
$8,499.
0.13.
13 cents.
That's what the
Listing broker got.
there it is. There it is.
We're getting half.
And yeah, I see you 13 cents. So that's what we got. Now
That's just on this show, that's just on this.
This
Because
just
you
an
wouldn't know.
example. You know, they know.
We'll get half.
And you did all
the
the
selling broker, that Remax agent, that's the selling. You're the listing broker.
Uh-huh.
You got, let's say, well, that's what we're after. What you got? The selling broker got this much commission.
Right.
That means your broker also got this much commission. Because we split it half and half.
Okay, okay.
You got this much, Remax got that much.
Okay.
Now, the listing agent got a check for $5,099.48. What was the listing agent's percentage of the gross company dollar? How do we figure that? Little number goes where?
At the
On the
top.
top.
5099. And the big number's gonna go on the bottom, 8499. Math problem now, this divided by this equals, what was your percentage of the company dollar?
6%.
60%. Okay, that's 0.6.
6%, not 60.
You,
Is that 60%?
Yeah, 60% of that. That's 60% of this number.
you don't like change for some reason.
To percentage.
Oh, okay.
2%.
I said you'd have to convert that, that decimal to percent.
Yes, that would be 60%.
Cause Marcel was saying 60.
Yeah, that's 60%. That's the split you got with your broker. Now, y'all want to take it one step further, how much did the broker get? That's going to be,
I thought the broker got 84.99.
the broker, no, you got this much, which was 60% of the commission. So the broker got this $84.99 minus that.
Okay.
So it's somewhere around, I don't know what that is, 2,500. That's what the broker got. That's what the pimp gets. Pimp gets 40% here.
$33.99.
Yeah. That's what the pimp gets broker cut.
We're gonna find you a purple hat.
Yeah,
Fuzzy,
yeah.
a fuzzy.
What was that guy, Huggy Bear?
Yeah.
Dressed like him one night.
Don't do it.
Talk about broker commissions, I'm gonna have that suit on.
That'd be a Halloween
Okay.
costume.
Yes.
And there it is, there's six, you got 60% of the company dollar. The broker got 40%. The splits are all over the board. 60, 70, 80, 90. You get up to 90, you're gonna have to be paying the broker a monthly fee. Because they expect, you're gonna help support the office. If they're giving you all the commission, guarantee me something. Most of them, it's gonna be 20, 30, 40%, depending on the size of the office. The bigger the office, the more they gotta get.
Cause they have overhead.
Now, brass and glass cost a lot. Yes, ma'am.
60%, that wasn't in the question though, right? They
No.
didn't give us that detail, we just came up.
Yeah, just, well, there it is. We went, here, the broker got, the selling broker got half the commission, and the agent here got 5,000. So what was their percentage of this? And that was the 60%.
Oh, they divided 84.
Oh, okay.
Now, let's just say, your broker gets 70%. 30%, you get 70%. Well, then we would put the selling broker, I would have 84.99 here times 0.7. And that would be your commission check.
Okay.
Okay, property management. Same thing, same T formula. We did the rent by the month. Sometimes there's more money. We just had a flat number earlier. Rent by the month, and then we had some 10 we took out. We can add money back into it. Pet fees, late fees, laundry fees. There could be other things you're doing there on the property that generate income that would change that. But then you got Tim with you. Timmy's always there, taxes, insurance, maintenance. And I need to put management on there because even if you're doing it yourself, there's a cost. You gotta go out there, or you gotta send somebody out there to fix the toilet.
If when you're dealing with property management, if they came out to do the sidewalks, that's not included in that, is it?
They came out to do
Yeah,
sidewalks.
redo sidewalks and
Like the
stuff.
city came to do
Yeah,
it, well, the
that's-
city's probably gonna make a special assessment on you. If
Okay.
they do improvements,
Right.
putting in sidewalks, putting in gutters, there's gonna be a special assessment for your little piece of it.
So that would show up on the property management
That'd be
scheme,
an
or?
expense.
Okay,
That's just another expense. It'd be like more taxes.
okay.
Same formula we've been using. Our annual net income, we talked about it, was how much per month? Are they talking months, semi-months, half a year? What are they talking? You gotta get it to annual. ROI is based on annual. And then there's your house cost, the investment, how much you put into it, and you want this percentage of return, that's how much you should get in rent. There's a nice easy one right there. Where are we gonna put those numbers? Where's that 15% go? That ought to be easy. Where's it go? Right here?
Rates,
And it's gonna be what?
0.15.
We got half our problem solved.
$1,000 in the results.
$1 million investment. Investment, what's that sound like? That sounds like a base, doesn't it? Got $1 million? That's just straight across multiply. How much rent do you expect to get? $150,000, that's right. See, y'all are catching on. You see how you catching on.
I ain't talking, so I ain't getting it.
There it is. Monthly rent. Monthly rent is $15,000. Where's that go? Results, 15,000.
Got to be.
And it says monthly. What do we gotta do?
Got 12.
Multiply by 12. And the investor wants a 12% ROI. It's a rate, gotta go here. And it's gonna be
0.12.
problem solved. We got a little math to do here.
Multiply
That's,
that and then divide.
What's that, 180,000?
Yes.
So we're gonna put 180,000 in the calculator, hit the divide button, 0.12, and will give us what we will pay for that house. Well, it's probably an apartment. What will we pay for it?
1500.
1500
Zero.
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 Some more zeros,
One-
probably
one more
$1,500,000.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
They'll pay $1.5 million to get that cash flow.
That house on the island.
And that will give you this kind of return.
Yeah.
There it is. That's the most this investor would pay. But what if it's been on the market for 2 years now?
Oh,
You think he's gonna get that?
No.
No. So, you make an offer on it. What's your offer gonna be? You're not gonna pay $1.5 million. What will you pay?
I give 900 because I'm out of water.
You pay, you said 1.35? Now we got a different problem. How we gonna figure, what we figuring now?
The rate?
We're looking for the rate. So we're gonna get rid of this one, because that's what's gonna change. This did not change. You did a better deal. They wanted $1.5 million, you cut them down to 1.35. Now, what's our rate? How we gonna figure that? We're gonna put this in the calculator, hit the divide button, and our new number.
.0.13.
Okay, 13%. Remember what it was a minute ago? 12%. Now you're getting a
Higher rate
13%.
of, higher rate of interest.
Yeah, you're getting a higher rate of return on your investment of this. Here you would've got 12% based on this cash flow. What these apartment people would like to do is they like to take this cash flow, come in and spray some free breeze and stuff around, raise rents. And then they bring this number up to 200,000. And you still only paid this. What's your return now? You're gonna hit 200,000, divide button, 1.35, and we got a new number here.
Uh, 0.14.
1.4. See how this changes? This will change this, or this can change this. They all are totally interrelated. You get a better deal, you get a better rate. You raise the rents, you make more money. Get you that 5-gallon bucket of free grease. This is exactly what we just did. That ROI is also called a capitalization rate. Same thing, cap rate. You'll hear cap rate, capitalization rate, ROI, yield, all the same thing. That's how much money, what the rate you're going to get on the money you've got invested. An investor could be demanding a 12% return, like we had. But as we can manipulate other numbers, this can change. It could be anything. The investor says, I don't want anything that doesn't pay less than 15%. Well, that's going to cut out a lot of investments. You may not be given all the numbers. you may have to figure out what your net income is. If you have to do that, they're going to give you all the numbers you need. They'll say you've got a gross income, they may make you figure that out. And then you've got a vacancy rate. They may give you the number or tell you the percentage. You've got expenses. They may, again, give you the number or a percentage. You get those down, your $100,000 now is netting $65,000 a month. $65,000 a month times 12 months, you're grossing $780,000 now. 780. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
780. That's your annual income. We had to get it to months. Watch them on that now. Because you see a big number like that and you think, oh, that's 1 month. But this is an apartment. There's a bunch of people paying them. So you got 780,000. Now, your investor said he wants a 12% return. How much will he pay for that property? It's going to be this divided by 0.12. That's what they'll pay. $650,000. I mean, $6,500,000 to get that 12%. Now, here we're going to play with it, just like we did over here. You can't get $6.5 million for this apartment. Been on the market 2 years, and finally you get an offer for $5 million. Will you take it? Don't know. You may. He may come back and say, give me $6 million. You can negotiate. But let's just say this is the best you're going to get. $500,000. So now you're getting, well, no, we had the same rent. It was $780,000, wasn't it? But now instead of paying $6.5 million, you're going to pay $5 million. Did that affect our cap rate? Yes, it did. Did it go up or down? Up, because this number went down.
That went down.
So this one's going to go up. Now you get, instead of 12%, you're getting almost 16%. That's negotiating. We're going to do that in post license. We spent 3 hours doing negotiating. It's the most fun class we have. You made a deal with the owner. You said if you did both sides, you'll do it for 8% instead of the 10. That's common. Say if I do both sides, I'll discount my commission.
So if you do a dual,
Yeah, this is like a duel. You're getting both sides of this. So you made the deal, and you told him, said, if I sell both sides, instead of 10, I'm going to charge you 8%. That's called a variable commission rate. DRC is how we put it in the MLS. The other agent needs to know if they're bringing an offer to the table and you've got an offer on the table, they've got to take this into consideration because it's going to hurt their person.
Right.
Because their offer's got to be higher to net the seller the same thing. So we went to 8%. We sold it at $500,000. And instead of 10, we sold it for 8%. So, gross company dollar, multiply it, $400,000. That's the gross commission on that. I'd love to get one of those. I've never seen a check that big. Most of the stuff we deal with is between 100 and 300. That's just the daily grind here. Every now and then you'll get a house that sells for $500,000 or $600,000, but they're few and far between. This was an apartment we were dealing with here. So you got $400,000 on that. And there it is.
Where is it?
The end of, the end,
Okay,
the end. Return on investment,
I can't absorb no more anyway, so.
Why have some more papers?
well, there's more stuff in here, but here we got a link to where you can go and learn more about return on investment. And then, I just, this is one, you can do later. You should be able to do this. You want to earn $50,000 in selling real estate. Average sale price is 150. Average commission's 3. You split with the brokers 80. How many transactions have you got to do to make that much money?
A lot of them.
Let's
A lot of
see. 50 dollars.
There it is. All right, here's average is 150.
That's not one of the choices.
Average is
A lot of them.
a lot of. Pick A, B, C, and D. Average commission's 3%, your cut's 80, so you're gonna get $3,600 average per sale.
Per sale.
You want $50,000, this divided by that's gonna give you 13.8 sales.
That's a 12 months.
How'd we do?
Was that in 12 months?
Yeah.
I'm not doing good.
13.
Do we understand how commissions work?
No, I do not.
Commissions, yeah, we've done a bunch of commissions.
I got it.
I understand it. I just need to.
What? Y'all gonna have to actually do something. Y'all got homework.
Yes.
And then Thursday night, our first 30 minutes, we go over homework. You can calculate commissions now. Yes. Can you determine the valuation of a property based on ROI? Yes. That's what we just did, last 2 or 3 of them. Do we know how debits and credits work? Good. Prorations, we good with those? Know how that works?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And points, we know how those work. How about loan values, how they're determined? You got a front end, a back end number based on your gross money. Measurements, we can measure front foot times depth, that gives us square footage. And how investment returns relate to price. That's what we just did on this one, where we changed the price, we changed the income. That's that last thing we did, how it relates to price. And then I left y'all one of these so y'all can just play with it. And I just threw a few more in here for y'all to have something to do. Test question be something like prepayment penalties, $4,321. That goes prepayment penalty, $43.21.
Loan
And
amount is 216.
and we got our loan, 216,050. That's an odd number. So how much are we paying points? And this is a penalty. It's just this divided by that, and it'll be 2 points.
Yeah. Steve.
And we're done.
Stop.
We're done. We're done.
She said, please stop. Please
Stop.
Stop. Stop.
To merge, it's to
One
merge.
of the things that we have to do is we have to cover all the material in an allotted time.
Right.
And we got now, we on the very last screen, we got 6 minutes left. We did it tonight.
Yes.
Covered everything, and y'all absorbed. I know everything I said.
I'm not finished up and tell that lie.
I absorb.
You will be able to go back. I'll get this loaded on the internet tomorrow.
You best to edit a whole bunch of stuff.
Tomorrow afternoon, y'all can go on our website, newlocationrealty.com, go to the school page, go down to math, and click on the math.
And I don't wanna hear nothing about no gin and juice.
When it says math, you can click on that and it'll give you all these PowerPoints. And then you can go over to where it says video, and you can click on the video and you'll see the last 2.5 hours.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, and I gotta learn to edit these down into bite-sized pieces
Yeah,
Yeah.
stick better.
But this first time through, you should have said the first one, I didn't even edit out the breaks. I didn't know how.
Oh,
But I've learned how to edit out breaks now, so we're good. But
Will
that's
you, will
it.
you, will you do your, PowerPoint then going forward, you can put your, where you want each section, or each segment in,
I just said it
Yeah.
two times.
do it that way.
Yeah, that'd be a good way to break it.
That way you'll know where your breaks are.
Manageable pieces.
let me get.
All right, folks, that is it.
I'm gonna